guys, this is Mr. Wolfie, and I am here with a special video today because it is the beginning of summer, technically. Actually, I just got my final grades in for my first year of graduate school, and I'm doing pretty good. I got, let's see, the first semester I got an A and an A minus. I don't know what the, they do the plus minus system here. And then this last semester I got an A and a B. So my overall grade point average is like a 3.67, which is pretty awesome for me. Sorry, thirsty. But since summer began, I thought I would kind of encourage people to do what I like to do during the summer, which is start, it's hard to read during the main year other than the stuff that you have to for studying and things like that. It's hard to find time to like hobby read, so it's fun to have like a summer reading list as it were. And there's a lot of people that don't read recreationally these days and are kind of proud of it, which is kind of stupid because, you got people that say things like, oh, I never read, I refuse to read, reading's dumb. And then they sit around on Twitter and Facebook all day reading. So you're reading, might as well read something that's worth reading, something good. So anyway, I got like a list of books that are on my favorite list. And one thing that folks know about me, if they keep up with my channel or just know me in real life, is that I really like collecting a handful of different things. Most specifically retro video games, Godzilla movies, or just giant monster movies in general, and Michael Crichton books. So I thought I would start off my summer reading, yeah, I got them right here, my summer reading recommendation list with, my lizard's eating his crickets, with my top 5 favorite Michael Crichton books. And I was just going to kind of, I don't want to reveal too much because my goal here is to encourage you to read these books. So, we'll start with what I suppose, it's really hard for me to choose these things because normally I'm pretty good about picking favorites of things, but when it comes to stuff I really like I really like pretty much everything Michael Crichton's ever written. It's hard to choose favorites really out of that, although there is 2 that are definitely like deserve to be on this list against, there's no other book that he's written, and one of them is pretty much my favorite book ever. So anyway, we'll get to that. Number 5 would be the Andromeda Strain. Now, the thing about the Andromeda Strain is I've never really read anything quite like it. It's about some they're pathologists, biologists, scientists that are dealing with an extraterrestrial virus, pretty much. I don't want to reveal too much about how things go down or anything like that. It's just, you've never really seen anything quite like it because it's an alien book in the vein of other sci-fi books regarding, extraterrestrial life, but it's completely 100% unique in that it's not actually like a humanoid alien that they're having to deal with. It's a pathological, it kills people just based on it being, viral or bacteria related. I don't want to reveal too much because I'm using the wrong words specifically, and it's actually kind of messing things up because there's a lot of twists and turns about what it actually is going on here. So you really need to read the Andromeda Strain. It's what? It doesn't have, I was going to say how many, oh, well, here we go. It's about 327 pages long, give or take. I don't know how much of that is like intro and stuff like that. Anyway, so it's not that long to read. This next one's even shorter, I think. Yeah, it's only like, it's not even 250, I don't think. It's like 252 pages, give or take. Okay, and then some of that's intro and some of that's like a descriptive thing at the end of it. But Eaters of the Dead. Now, by the way, all these books on my list have been made into movies. I should mention that I've yet to see the Andromeda Strain movie. It's from like the 70s, I think. And I've always heard that it was very good. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. But Eaters of the Dead was made into a movie called The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. And it is a really really good book in a lot of ways. The movie's pretty awesome. I love the movie. I don't know, it's kind of one of those cult classics. I don't know if everybody likes it, but I like it. But Eaters of the Dead is cool. It's a kind of a play off of the Legend of Beowulf. I guess you would say the epic. It kind of gives it a real world grounding to like possibly the origins of the story. It's really neat the way Michael Crichton wrote it. And it's kind of funny. The whole book, it even describes it in the epilogue. It's kind of interesting. I like the way his mind works in the other stuff around his stories. It's a lot of factual information that gets piled into there. That's why I like Michael Crichton. But anyway, he talks about it all began because he had an argument with a friend about whether or not Beowulf would work by today's standards. Like, would people be interested in it if it wasn't a classic? Like, if someone just came up with that story, would it work? And he's like, well, yeah. If I change just a couple of things, then you would think it's a different... You wouldn't realize it was the same story, and you would like it on its own merits, and then you would realize that the story of Beowulf itself is that much more likable. So it's really... You should read it yourself. I like this edition because it's got the intro and the notes at the end. So yeah, Eaters of the Dead, aka the 13th Warrior, is my number 4, right? Yeah, 5-4. Okay, so the third, and most people should have seen this one coming, Jurassic Park. Now, I really like this book. The book is fantastic. This is probably the only book I've ever read where the movie I think was better. But I think a lot of that problem comes from the fact that I saw Jurassic Park when I was a little kid, and it's, you know, the nostalgia effect takes over, and it's hard to... It's like there's enough differences that you can't really see the movie or read the book and see exactly what's going to happen in a lot of cases. There's a whole bunch of differences in the book and between the book and the movie. And I'm currently working on The Lost World. I just recently got a copy of it, so I'm excited. So I still got a few Michael Crichton books I haven't read, so it may well be better than this. I've always heard that The Lost World's a very, very good book. But anyway, you know, you should know about this because pretty much everyone should have seen the movie by now. It's been out since, like, what, 93? And it's a legendary movie of one of my favorite movies ever. I don't remember. It's like a few hundred pages long. Anyway, you should read it. You haven't lived until you've read this book. You've probably lived. I don't know. Okay, and now the next two, I can't really choose between as far as a favorite. I'm gonna say that I'm putting them in the order that I'm going to say that they're in. But then, you know, next week I may think, man, I actually liked the other one better. Maybe I should have done that. So right now we're going to say this is number 2. So Jurassic Park was number 3. Number 2 is Timeline. Timeline is cool. It's freaking cool. They had a movie about it. It was okay. It wasn't nearly as good as the book. It is about basically these archaeologists and other scientists discover. Well, they're not the ones that discover it. I don't want to reveal too much. They're not the ones that discover it. But anyway, they find a kind of a hole in the space-time continuum, and it even goes into a lot of it. One thing I like about this book is that it goes into a whole lot of the physics behind. It goes into the physics behind time itself and how time is a dimension, and it talks about how they're actually not going through time. They're going to another dimension where the timeline has wrapped around, and it's really interesting and creative the way that goes, and it's really cool. They go back to like 1800s France, I think, and it's, you know, knights. They have to become knights, and one of the characters he's been an archaeologist all his life, and he's just obsessed with the noble knight culture. So he's been training pretty much all his life to be a knight so he can understand them better. And when he gets there, he's just, you know, he fits right in. It's really, really interesting the way things play out in this book. Like I said, this one may be my favorite. It's so hard to choose between these two. I definitely recommend this one. If you don't read any other Michael Crichton books at all, you should definitely read these two. Now, this other one is kind of in the same vein of you should read this one if you read a Michael Crichton book, but It's not quite as, I don't think a lot of people would like it as much as I do. I don't think they would like it as much as these other ones. But Congo is probably my #1 favorite Michael Crichton book, and about my favorite book of all time. I love this book. This book is fantastic. They had a movie about it, and the movie was like, the movie's okay. It was, you know, it came out after Jurassic Park, and they played it up like, for the, you know, the minds behind Jurassic Park, we bring you Congo. It's about gorillas. Everybody's like, oh, gorillas are cool. And it just, it paled in comparison. I mean, you can't make suit puppet gorilla things and it compared to the most awesome CGI and giant puppet work dinosaurs you've ever seen in your life. It just didn't. It just didn't do so well. And the movie itself is just kind of meh. I mean, there's likable things about it, definitely. It's got Bruce Campbell in it, so watch that. But what's good about this book is it's a woman who is over a... I know they do microchips, and I think it's just like communications, and they're trying to find the next big thing in microchips. So they're looking for these specific kinds of diamonds that supposedly are deep in the Congo somewhere. And they have to... They can't find this location of where this lost city is, essentially. And they enlist the aid of a gorilla who has been taught sign language. It's telling the story a lot better than I'm telling it. I don't know how to word it without doing too many spoilers. A gorilla that's learned sign language that they can communicate with and her trainer. And the gorilla is like the best character. The gorilla's fantastic in this book. It's one of the best characters in books ever. Amy is cool. But anyway, she's been there. She was there when she was little before they took her in. She was an orphan gorilla. And so they need her to lead them more or less to this area of the Congo. And I don't want to reveal that to you though. Ah, crap, it's hard not to say spoilers. You should just read this book and find out what happens next. It's another one of those books where he puts a lot of information in it. Like, one thing that's cool about this book is it gets into African history a lot and tells some pretty creepy stuff from, you know, that actually happened when settlers first, you know, came to Africa and started interacting with the natives. The kind of things that they saw and the kind of things that happened, and it got pretty violent and crazy, and then it talks about just the gorillas themselves and gorilla culture. Like, they're pretty creative, pretty interesting society that they, you know, it gives you a whole new respect for gorillas and a whole new fear of chimpanzees, because they're, you know, if you weren't afraid of chimpanzees before, there's some stuff in there that will probably boost it for you. But yeah, definitely, if you don't read any other Michael Crichton books ever, read these three: Congo, Timeline, and Jurassic Park. And, you know, if you read any of these books, like, this is my summer reading list, is to recommend this stuff. If you read any of these books, tell me about it in the comments. You know, if the video encouraged you to get some, go to, like, local bookstores. I got most of these for, you know, $1 or a couple dollars at the Goodwill bookstore. You know, they're used, and people just donate them, and then they sell them for a low price usually for charities and things. So why not buy them? It's perfect. So I'm going to work on The Lost World, and I'll make another video updating that. And then I have some more books to recommend in another video. Just kind of every week or so I'll put out a summer reading list video. But anyway, guys, peace out. This has been Mr. Wolfie. Love you guys.